Hi everyone, this is Dave from DailyTechTV and welcome to the Q&A session for Tuesday, 19th of April 2011. Now it's been a long time since I've done a Q&A session, and the reason why that is because if this had gone out before my 1000th video, it would have spoilt the surprise about the 1000th video. So I do hope that you've stuck with me through that time where I've been off camera. I've still been bringing you a review every day, but I certainly haven't been in front of the camera very much. Now, before I kick off this Q&A session, I just want to mention that this particular Q&A is being sponsored by Mr. Tiebox123. Now, if you head on over to youtube.com, Mr. Tiebox123, you will see Adam's channel. Absolutely fantastic videos on there. A lot of tutorial videos, giveaways, so please do check that channel out. Also, if you want to get Adam's regular updates on Twitter, you can follow @tfizo. Now, all the details are in the description of this video, and you'll have also seen little pop-ups as I was telling you about Mr. Tiebox123's YouTube channel. So, a few things just to cover off very quickly before I start this Q&A session. Now, I've only been sort of on camera with this new presenting style for a few days, but the most asked question so far is what's with the hats and where do you get them from? Well, I've got a lot of different hats that I'll be wearing. Absolutely love the hats that I've been buying, and the bulk of the hats, this one included, this is an absolutely fantastic hat, covers up my sort of close shaven head, and this is from newurban.co.uk. Really like their hats a lot. They're not all New Urban hats that I've been wearing, a lot of them have been Kangol hats, but this one is actually a New Urban hat, so please do check them out. And the second thing I just want to cover before I start the Q&As, I'm going to get out for this one, is these lights. I get so many questions about my studio lighting. I'm not going to cover this off in every single video, but I'll let you know just what I'm using today for this Q&A. I've got a main studio light right at the back of the studio, which is out of shot. This is a roto light. Now, these are available from rotolight.co.uk, and I've got one of these sitting down here just off to my right hand side, and that's got no diffuser in it, so it's just purely an LED light that's just filling in some light on my right hand side. And this one here has got this warm filter in it, so it's like got a sort of colour tint to the filter. And I'm going to switch this one on, and this one just gives a little bit of colour to my face, and I set this one off just to the right, so it's just out of camera shot, but it does provide a little bit of colour to the scene. So they're the video lights that I'm using for today. Now let's get on with the questions. So I'm answering questions that were left in my iPhone app first of all. So I've got an iPhone app in the iTunes App Store. You can send me questions via that app. It's free to download, so please do head on over to the iTunes Store, search for Geekanoids and download the app, and that's one way you can get questions to me. So let's get these questions underway that I've received via the iPhone app. Now, the first one is from Mr. 1972 Fins. Will iPhone 5 get a bigger screen, and what about iPad 3 in September? Well, I'll cover the iPad 3 question first, because that iPhone 5 question has come up a lot in all of the messages I've been receiving. So iPad 3. In September, it's a possibility Apple do all of their iPod range in September. That's happened every single year with new iPods coming out. Will they move the iPad to September as well? Personally, I think it's a slim possibility, maybe a 50-50 chance that they will. For me, really, I think they'll keep it on its same yearly cycle that we've experienced already, so I don't think we'll see 2 iPad releases in 2011. Now, the question about the iPhone 5, will it get a bigger screen? Well, that has also been asked. We've got similar questions from Xylos X. What are your predictions for the iPhone 5? And then we've also got a very similar question from Andrew. What features will the iPhone 5 have, and will we ever see a quad-core iPad? Well, I don't think we'll see a quad-core iPad anytime soon, but let's concentrate on the iPhone 5 for a little while. People are predicting that the next iPhone is going to come out during the June time frame, when Apple are holding their WWDC. That's their conference that they hold for developers. Now, for me, I think the iPhone 5 will probably see a slight increase in screen size. I don't think they're going to go too much bigger, and the reason I think that is they want to keep the pixel density and that retina display really very, very close to what it is now. So I don't think we're going to see a massive change when it comes to physical screen size. What I do think we'll see is definitely dual core. They're definitely going to move up the game in terms of processor speed. I also think that they're going to be changing that home button. There's been a lot of talk about the home button disappearing from the iPad, and that didn't happen. There's also a lot of people that are applying various hacks to their devices so that they can get these multi-touch gestures for multitasking. So I think that possibly a new way of doing multitasking and maybe losing that home button on the next generation of iPhone might be a possibility. So apart from that, I don't know what else they could do apart from physically change the way the device looks, maybe to reintroduce the flat back similar to what we've seen in the second gen iPad. But apart from that, what else can they do? I mean, they've got the design down to a T already. Really, I just think they need to evolve the product to keep up with the competition. So that's what I think about the iPhone 5. So thank you very much to everyone who sent in questions about the iPhone 5. Next one is from Eddie. Dave, I plan on purchasing the next generation of iPhone, but I already have an iPod Touch 4G, but I need to purchase a phone and also want extra capacity and extra features. What should I do? Well, Eddie, I will answer this question, but you failed to let me know what size iPod Touch you have. You're saying you need extra capacity, so I suppose you might be looking at a 32GB or 64GB device. If you want to stay with iOS devices, then the only thing you can do is purchase a 32GB iPhone 4 at the moment, or wait until the iPhone 5 comes out. You might well see capacities go up to 64GB. If that's not a high enough capacity for you, you either need to find a better way of managing your media, so use iTunes to create playlists so you don't have to have them all on the device at the same time, or move across to an Android device. It's a good operating system, and you can get 16 and 32GB devices and then add a 32GB micro SD card as well, so you're getting your 64GB capacity that way. I know what I'd do. People slate me for this. I'd stick with the iPhone, but Android phones, very capable devices, so maybe you could look at those as an option as well. So thanks for that question. The next question is from Rashid. Hi Dave, I would like to say firstly you're a great reviewer and you describe the products how it is. Thank you very much, appreciate that. Although there's always a glimpse of you favouring Apple, which is understandable because they are the best in everything they produce, would you recommend the iPad 2 over the Zoom tab that is the biggest threat to the iPad? That is a fantastic question. Now, back at the beginning of the month, I did have an iPad 2. I got it on launch day, and through till the beginning of April, it's a very, very good device. It was definitely a lot faster than the iPad 1 that I'm using now. And hopefully some of you will have followed what I went through with the iPad 2, sorry. I had screen issues, I had light bleed issues, I had apps crashing, I had sound issues. I went through a saga with Comet, which is the retail store in the UK where I purchased it, and had a lot of problems getting them sorted out. But they did, in the end, they responded correctly, and they couldn't exchange it because they didn't have stock at the time. So I opted for a refund. Now, I don't want to get too deeply into this because it's really been covered in the articles I've published on the Geekanoids website. But as I say, Comet did do the refund. Apple were absolutely superb with their customer service. They would have sorted it out for me, either at a small expense, which would have involved me buying Apple Care to do an advanced exchange, or I'd have had to drive down about an hour and a half, 2 hours, or a 3 to 4 hour round trip to swap it over at an Apple store. So I opted for the refund. That's not to say it wasn't a good device. The iPad 2, absolutely superb. You're mentioning the Motorola Zoom. That device really does interest me as well. It runs Android version 3. There's also the Samsung Galaxy Tab. And then there's also this Asus ePad transformer. And that's a 10-inch tablet as well that actually docks onto a keyboard. It's like a chiclet style keyboard. And that comes in, I think, at about £380 or £430 with the keyboard. So that's an option as well. And they're all sort of dual core devices. They offer good battery life. So yeah, they do pose a threat to the iPad 2, and it really depends in what sort of operating system you're really involved in. If you're heavily a Mac user and maybe you've got an iPhone already, then I think it's a natural purchase to maybe look at the iPad 2 or the first gen iPad. If you're not tied or not loyal to one brand, then yeah, look around. The Motorola Zoom looks superb. Out of all of the devices I've seen coming out this year though, I must say that ePad transformer looks the most interesting to me. So, brilliant question, Rashid. Thank you very much for posing that question. Now, at this early stage of doing this video, I'm going to tell you all that there's no way I'm going to cover all of these questions because I've been so long between Q&As that I'm going to have to save some for next time. So anyway, let's carry on. Next one is from Kyle. Now, he's got a Verizon iPhone 4 with an unlimited data plan. And I've been told when I get my next upgrade, next May, that if I choose to upgrade for the next iPhone, I would lose my unlimited plan. So he's asking, should he buy a phone outside a contract instead of upgrading? Well, if that unlimited data plan means so much to you, then yeah, just buy the device. You're then not tied to any particular contract. I know in the US it's slightly different because if you've got a Verizon iPhone or an AT&T iPhone, you can't switch between the two carriers because they're different technology inside the devices. In the UK it's slightly different. We can buy an unlocked handset and switch between providers as we see fit. So I would say buy one outside of the contract, then you're not tied to necessarily Verizon, but just hearing what I'm saying, you are tied either way you go. But if you want to keep your unlimited data plan, you're going to just have to buy the device and eat the cost. That's the only way to do it, unless you put pressure on them. Tell them that is really unfair. You're a loyal customer, and if you're going to stay with them, they should let you keep your data plan. It's as simple as that. I would put pressure on Verizon to let you keep the plan that you're on at the moment. Next one is from Dale. Can you recommend a case for the Amazon Kindle? Well, there are a lot of cases available for the Amazon Kindle. I'm assuming you mean the latest version. Two that I'd recommend. You can get one from ProPorter.com. They actually sell a variety of different Kindle cases, so take a look there. The actual official Amazon Kindle case, I've actually got one. It's not to hand, but I've actually got a Kindle with one of their leather cases on. They're about £29 in the UK. Fits perfectly, doesn't add on much bulk to the actual device, so that's something I would definitely consider. Next one is from Ash. Now, Ash asks about his laptop that he's using in conjunction with his iPhone. Now, his iPhone software updates that he's been applying to the device, and I assume backups as well, are taking up a lot of space on his D drive, and he's asking can he move those and permanently redirect his backups to save to a different drive. Well, two questions there and two answers. One, you can obviously move them off the D drive to a backup disk, and if you ever need to backup from, restore from them, then put them back on your device. Now, with regards to permanently targeting the backups to a different drive, I don't think that's possible. Now, if anyone knows another way of doing that, please do leave them in the comments and I'll pass on your answers to Ash as well. So, good question there. Next one is from Media Swift. Is the Sony A55 a good DSLR for people upgrading from a digital camera? Absolutely superb camera. I had an A55 for quite a while. Very, very fast frame rate for fast action photos. Great control. It's got an auto mode as well, so you can learn the camera as you progress. So yeah, good choice for a first DSLR, and it's very light as well and compact. Next one is from David. What inspired you to start Geekanoids? Very, very simple answer. I love technology, love gadgets, and I got fed up with buying what I would call bum deals, where I'd buy a gadget and it didn't really perform. So I thought it'd be great to share my experiences with you guys and girls so that you can learn from my mistakes, and I can give you a very fair and unbiased opinion about articles, and then you can make an educated decision about making your purchase. So that's really what inspired me. Also, I used to write a lot, and I felt that video conveyed what a device could do a lot better than a written article. Next one is from Darren, YouTube name iDarren. Is it worth upgrading to Office 2011 from Microsoft for the Mac from 2008 edition? Well, two answers to that question again, I'm afraid. If 2008 does exactly what you want it to do, no reason to spend the extra money. 2011 does have some really nice features, including the new ribbon at the top of the interface. So yeah, if you want those new features, it's not a massive amount of money to spend, so could well be worth upgrading. Just depends if you really need the latest app on your machine. Next one is from Jerry. YouTube username VVCompHelpVV. Also has another channel called Jerry Games. How did you find out about YouTube? I just discovered it the same way as probably everyone else did, just browsing the internet. When you found out about it, did you immediately see yourself posting content on the site? Not immediately, but after writing for quite a long period of time, I definitely was interested in video, and just it was natural progression for me to move across from writing to video reviews. And has YouTube been a life changer? For me, yeah, it has. I used to do a lot of graphic design. Before that, I used to be an IBM engineer. So I used to be out of the house all the time and working at different sites. And now I concentrate on testing products and producing videos. So yeah, it's totally changed the way I work. It's given me more time with the family as well. So yeah, it definitely has been a life changer. Brilliant question, Jerry. Now the last one, before I take a short break, is from John. I would like to know when the white iPhone 4 is available and if I can get a contract with T-Mobile. Well, John, it's a very hard question to answer. The white iPhone 4, as you know, was meant to be available a year ago and it never happened. We've now seen the white iPad 2 become available, so everyone's predicting white iPhone, white iPhone. White iPhone is coming any day now. Well, it still hasn't happened, and this is like a month on, or almost a month on after the iPad 2 launch. My prediction is that Apple probably didn't want to bring out a white iPhone mid-cycle, so maybe we're going to see the white iPhone be available day one of launch of the iPhone 5, and I do think T-Mobile will pick up the device, so yeah, you should be able to get it on contract with T-Mobile. I'm going to take a short break now, and when I come back I'll be covering off the questions that you left as comments on the last Q&A video. If you want to check out all of my video reviews, head on over to youtube.com/geekanoids, and for all of my written reviews and news updates, check out geekanoids.co.uk. Well, welcome back. Now I'm going to cover off some of the questions that were posted in my last Q&A session video. And the first one comes from Heineken100. Great video, thank you very much. Is Apple Care worth the price if you're a basic user like me who barely carries his laptop anywhere? Well, you're talking about a laptop, just to let everyone else know that Apple does offer this Apple Care extended warranty on all of its devices, and you normally get 2 years of cover on their mobile devices like the iPad, iPod range and iPhone. or if you're looking at a laptop or a desktop machine, then you normally get 3 years of coverage. Now, I always buy AppleCare. It gives me great peace of mind. If you ever need just one repair, then AppleCare would have been well worth the price. It also gives you a little bit extra privilege as well. So things like advanced replacements. So if your iPad goes wrong, for example, you can get them to send you out one and pick the other one up the same day. So it means you're not without a device. And they do treat you very well if you've got AppleCare. Now, just an example, if you need a logic board replaced on your Mac laptop, then you're going to look at probably around about a £600 to £700 repair bill, if not more. Screen, probably similar price. Even just a hard drive replacement, you're probably looking at about £150, including the labour time of swapping over the other hard drive. I know you can do hard drives yourself, but if you're going to stick to having things repaired just at authorised repair centres, which obviously keeps your product in warranty, then yeah, AppleCare is worth every penny in my mind, and it gives you great peace of mind as well. So I would definitely recommend it. Next one is from We Rock Games. How many cameras do you own, and would you rather buy an iPad 2 or a Motorola Zoom? Well, we've sort of covered off the iPad 2 question in one of the previous questions. Would I buy an iPad 2 or Motorola Zoom? I'd probably go for the iPad 2. How many cameras do I own? Well, I've got the camera that's in my iPhone 4 that's in my pocket, doink doink doink, down here. I have got the Panasonic SD700 that I'm recording this on now, and I've got an Olympus Pen EPL2 which I use for my photography. I'm also looking at getting another digital SLR, mainly so that I can bring you a review, but also to use it for video production as well. And I'm looking at the Nikon D5100 that's just recently been announced a couple of days back. So yeah, they're the cameras I own at the moment anyway. Next one is from Sean's Macintosh. When do you think Apple will refresh the iMac? Also, can you earn money out of also you can earn money from Ustream, to let me know. So yeah, I knew about the Ustream thing. A lot of people have been asking me to go on Ustream. Not worried about the money, it's just a time issue. Between doing this and everything else I do with the website, I don't have time to live stream very often. But your question about the iMac, well, I record these a little bit ahead of time, these Q&As, so it might well be that it's already happened. If we haven't seen an iMac refresh yet, so if it hasn't happened by the time this video gets published, then I think it's going to happen very soon. Apple just introduced new ports and new technology to their laptop range. It's going to happen to the Mac Mini and the iMacs and the Mac Pros as well. So yeah, I would expect to see a refresh on the iMac either as this video goes out or in the very near future. Next one is from Chakra Canon 97. Which mic do you use? I know you've answered this question before, but I can't find the video. So can you answer my question? Very, very, very good question. Too many verys. Sorry about that. On the camera that I'm using recording this video, it's got a built-in mic, which is a 5.1 microphone, also records in stereo as well. So when I'm doing my top-down reviews, I use the built-in mic. When I'm doing this sort of video, I use, and I'm going to stand up to show you this, I've got a Sennheiser EW100 G2, and this is like a transmitter, and then attached to the camera that's recording this video is a receiver. And this little aerial, stand up again, there's a little aerial on the side, and that transmits my voice to the receiver module. And then I've got a little lapel mic just here, also by Sennheiser, that came with the kit, and it produces extremely good sound quality. When I'm doing my ScreenFlow reviews, you can see my setup behind me here. This is the microphone I use for all of my voiceovers, and that is an Audio Technica AT2020 USB condenser microphone. Very high quality, and I've been testing a lot of kit over the years, and I found that that combination sort of works the best for me at the moment. So Great question, thank you very much for that. Now, the next question is from Chubby Warrior. What is your top 10 tips for YouTubers, i.e. tech reviews, but for someone like me, which is 13, don't have loads of money spare, and advice for getting products to review? Well, I have covered this off in another video, and I probably could make a whole video about this, but just general advice is to upload regularly, speak clearly, be honest in your reviews. Now, you say you haven't got a lot of money to get gadgets in to review. Well, ask friends and family. You know, if somebody gets a new phone, would they mind bringing it round to your house so that you can review it? And then start that way, and maybe even do app reviews. A lot of apps are free, and that gives you experience in doing reviews, so I'd sort of start off that way. So very, very good question. I know that wasn't 10 tips, but maybe you'll see a video come from me in the future just to cover that off. Now, you'll have to excuse me for skipping a lot of questions, but I'm going to bring the Q&A session to a close. I will just answer one more question, which is from RD Productions 1001. Is this your full-time job? It certainly feels like it. I spend a lot of time doing videos on YouTube. I do have other things I work on as well. I do some graphic design for some clients I used to service many, many years ago, and I still do graphic design work. I also do the website. I also do writing. I've just recently started writing for digitalrev.com. I've got some more writing coming up, so you'll be seeing some articles on other websites too. I do the Geekanoids website, and it all keeps me extremely busy. YouTube is fantastic, and I love sharing these videos with you. Fantastic question. Thanks very much for that question, RD Productions 1001. That is all we've got time for in this Q&A though. So if you've got any more questions, leave them as comments in this video, or send them to me via email, geekanoids@gmail.com, or you can use the iPhone app and get questions to me that way, and I will see you all in the next Q&A session.